Hello Scrappers, this is Lorraine from Card Creations, and I've got another card project for you. And today I'm going to show you how to make this ribbon rose card. I did make the roses myself, and I will be doing a second video fairly soon to show you step-by-steps on how to make these roses. In the meantime, if you like the design and you'd like to make a card similar to this, you can substitute the roses for buttons or some other elements. But I'll try to get the video to you fairly quickly so you can make your own. I wanted to show you some of the other roses that I've made. Now this one is a pink rose that I used with a wider ribbon. And let's see, this, I'm not sure what size that ribbon is, but it's a fairly thick ribbon. And then I made these red roses with this style of ribbon here. It's not very wide, it's a number 3. You can buy those at a flower shop, a big roll like this, like I did, fairly inexpensive. And I also did the white roses that we'll be working with today in the number 3 size ribbon. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now to begin with, I started my base with a white piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I've cut a pink mat that's 5 1/4 by 4, and we'll add that to the front of the card. We're going to do quite a bit of layering, so it makes the card extra special. And then I have my patterned paper, and this measures 3 6/8 by 5 1/8. Just leaves just a thin border around your patterned paper. Okay. Actually, I forgot a step. Let me see if I can still salvage this. Well, I'm not going to worry about that. I was going to add a piece of ribbon like you'll see on the front of this card, but we'll go ahead and just do the card without the ribbon on this one. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, and I've cut for my mat, for the top portion of the card, I've cut this patterned paper at 2 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I have used my white gel pen and did some faux stitching around the edge of that, and we're going to go ahead and do our stamping on that card. And what I have is this stamp here, but I only want to use the stem on that, so I've cut a piece of paper with just a little notch on it, because these flowers are different heights and I want to make sure I get all the stems onto the front of my card. So I just cut a little notch so that I can still stamp the entire left stem on my card. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure where I want the stems to fit, and then use a piece of cardstock with some removable tape on the back, and I'm just going to place that down right where I want to stamp, and that way when I do stamp I won't get the top flowers on my cardstock. So now I'm going to use some Color Box pigment ink and ink that up. And line that up. And there we have our stems. I can just move that aside. And now I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that. And I've already used my embossing buddy to remove the static from my cardstock. so we don't have to worry about that. Move that aside. Okay, there we have that. Okay, and then now I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and this says surprise. I'm going to use my Versamark for that because I want to stamp that in white. I'm going to position that right about there. Okay, now get my white embossing powder. Just do that. And we'll use the heat gun once again. There we go. Okay. Now I've got my mat for this, which I'm going to layer right on top of that. And this mat was cut at 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. Just get my tape gun. And add that to the front of that. Okay. And I have added foam tape to the back of my mat, and I'm just going to center that on the front of the card. And then now I'm going to add my roses, and I do attach my roses with a hot glue gun. That's the best adhesive, I think, for these roses. So I've got 3 different sizes here, so I'm going to go ahead and add the largest one to the far end. Add that there. There we go. Now, like, this dries really quick, so we can move into the inside now. On the inside of my card, I'm going to add a mat, which the pink one measures 4 by 5 1/8, and then the small white mat measures 4 1/4 by 3 1/8. And once again, I've used my gel pen to do the faux stitching around. There we go. There we have our homemade ribbon roses. And I'm going to add one more thing to the front. I've got my white gel pen, and this has an exclamation mark, and I'm just going to go ahead and write that in. And there we go. Thanks for watching.